Hey everyone, it's Taylor, the producer of the Pushback podcast. Due to some scheduling conflicts and some cast members not feeling well, we don't have a new podcast episode for you this week. Not to worry though, we've compiled our favorite clips from episodes 1 through 4 for your viewing and listening enjoyment. We will return to our regularly scheduled podcast next Friday, February 11th. Until then, enjoy this best of episode, float safe, and full send.
Oh, and one more thing. Not only do we have some crazy pushback swag in the works for you guys, stuff like you've never seen before, also original one-wheel content featuring your favorite riders, but we also have a brand new show format coming called The Experience, where we're going to be reacting to and reviewing all of the footage that you guys submit to us. So check it out. At the top of the description, you're going to see a link where you can submit clips directly to us with a Dropbox link. Go ahead, send us your favorite clips, whether that's a bail, a nosedive, something funny around the one-wheel community, a super dope trick you landed. Send it in to us, make sure you have your name on it, and we want to feature you on the show. So can't wait to review your footage, and now on with the highlights.
I mean, I live 1.2 miles away from my work.
Exactly.
And so as long as it's not shitty out, which it's Ohio, so it's always shitty.
Yeah,
but like,
just
hit up Robert, man.
dude,
Get your board Badger.
yeah.
Just get a board Badger, dude. You can ride it anytime.
Yeah,
Badger
but then-
your one wheel, get wet. You better pay me, Robert. That was a big.
Quite the endorsement.
Robert,
yeah.
I gotta have Robert on the show.
If you like
too.
going
Yes.
to work, if you
Yes.
like going to work with a super soggy crotch, just ride your one wheel.
Some people are into that. I'm not gonna judge.
Dude, it's
different backgrounds, like a gamer who like had some interest, played some Tony Hawk or something, like they can hop on a one wheel and figure it out.
Yeah.
Versus like the skater can still like adapt like things that came from skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many culture blends, and everyone that comes in is just like, yo, you got the one wheel, and like
Yeah.
there's no like, you don't even feel that same, like when I was a kid and I go to the skate park, like you'd still get that intimidation from like all the dope ass skaters, right? You'd be like, I'm this corny kid here that my mom's making me wear a helmet.
Yeah.
And like I love
Yeah.
how one wheel has helped breed that culture to be like, no, it's cool, like wear the helmet, please.
yeah.
die.
I actually
We're
like
going
that.
so much faster.
I like that one wheel's culture is down with like brain buckets and stuff because because you're going 20 miles an hour. This is insanity, you know. And then and even when you're going 10 miles an hour,
Yeah.
a nosedive,
Again, the
it
slow ones
could be fatal.
Exactly.
Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
Kind of what sparked the pushback for is like the pushback just launched 4 weeks ago. It was an idea to like start a podcast. It actually came. Christian and I were talking. We're like, we should start a Discord channel to make get one wheel riders together. So we started the Action One Wheel Riders, and I went through the One Wheel app, and if you go in and like go to the friends portion, you can like search for people in a 20-mile radius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just
And
blasted it. Yeah,
I
he
just
sent out,
spammed
like,
everybody. I'm like, yo, we got this group. Here's a link. And I got a good amount of response back. So
That's
we
pretty
got
cool.
like
That's
10,
pretty cool.
10, 15 people into the group pretty
Yeah,
quick.
I think we went from like 5 to 15. Like,
Yeah.
and
Real
there
quick.
are people there that I've never met in real life, even though we live within 5 miles of
Right.
each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It brings an eclectic group together. I think that's my favorite part is that it's like there is like common themes, but overall
Yeah.
it's like a mishmash of people
It's
that
so
would never
it's
really
so
like
wild.
Yeah, like never.
Your cast,
Like the shredder, like the shredders, you know, one of those like stock stoke words or whatever. And then he's like, what about the pushback? And I'm like, I'm like,
guess what just clicked into place? Yeah.
the pushback.
I got that text on the other side, and I was like, no.
Well, because it's a complex. There's a lot of things wrapped up.
Mind
in that.
you, I was also a couple beers in between flights.
As you should
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm like,
Every
what else
time
am I
there's
going to
a
do with the layover?
Yeah,
Like,
you need to be. Don't puke on the next plane, but you need to be like right before that.
Yeah.
if there's
Right,
a layover.
right.
Yeah.
so yeah, he hits me up with this idea, like the pushback. I'm like, dude, that's it. Like, you know, it's such a one wheel.
I thought it was
name.
really good too.
And
then
so
he sent
props
it
to Taylor,
directly
yeah.
to me, and I was like, "That's the one.
it.
That's
yeah,
it,
That's the one.
You're texting me at my next layover, and I'm like,
That's the one."
and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, my wife said like this is amazing. Like, so
Oh yeah,
we had
yeah.
this idea.
My wife was like, "You have to do this.
Yeah.
This
So-
is your place in the
Right.
universe. It's on the other end of a microphone. Yeah. The demon drop or the devil drop, and we would jam our bikes down it, and eventually our skateboards and whatever, and you just go fast as hell and it's like terrifying, whatever. But I rode up that hill on the one wheel.
Okay.
And I was like, then I parked in his driveway, and my wife's name is Rachel, and I was like, Rachel, I'm buying this tonight. I don't care. I don't
Get
care
the credit card. Fuck Dave Ramsey.
No, you know
it.
what? The best part is my credit wasn't good enough, so I had to log in as my wife in Klarna.
So
I couldn't even get Klarna.
So technically, this is your wife's
my
board
wife
you're
owns
riding.
the Onewheel. Yeah. But so. Yeah, just riding up a hill that I would have had to walk up before.
Yeah,
changed my life. Like changed my whole. And then of course, like obviously, after an hour on a one wheel, you're like, it's either for you or it's.
I'm gonna go try and do a blunt stall. Right? I go in. I'm getting ready to hit it. Like I'm fully willing to take the consequence of eating it.
Yeah.
Like I've accepted that.
I
feel like with one
if
wheel,
that's the payment you have to make,
correct.
you've already budgeted for it. Yeah.
I feel like with one wheel, you're not expecting it.
Right.
Like you're not ready for it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of feel betrayed. You're like, ooh, like I'm not sure if I want to do that again. You betrayed me.
Yeah.
You fucking sent me. I wasn't ready to be sent.
It was you, Steezy,
Yeah.
all along.
Steezy.
You had it out for me this whole time.
It was Steezy. I want to see a sticker of that. Too.
It was you, Steezy.
It was Steezy
all along.
It was Steezy in the library.
Yeah.
We'll take a vote. I'm gonna pinpoint wherever this time marker is. If you would like to see a Steezy sticker, I'll get on Photoshop and get it done.
Steezy, it
But-
was you all
Votes
along.
for Steezy.
Yeah. Votes for Steezy.
Vote for Steezy.
Hashtag vote
That's
for
it.
Steezy.
Hashtag
Yeah.
vote for Steezy. But that's where I feel like the difference is like, you know, when I'm on a skateboard, I'm willing to accept the punishment to get the reward of the trip. So I'm always buying shit on Facebook Marketplace, and I go.
I feel like if I were a wife, that would be like, there's a lot of things that a dude could probably buy I'd be like pissed off about. But a one wheel, it's like, I think maybe
So-
on some level I'd be okay with it.
She's like, so like,
At least he gets fresh air.
I didn't
Yeah,
tell.
exactly. Yeah, it's like, well, at least it's outside. That's fine.
So I didn't tell her what I was doing. And like I get home and I got the pint and she's known like I've wanted one forever. So like she knew that was there. And it was close to my birthday. It's end of 2019, getting close to December 6th, my birthday coming through. And I'm holding the pint. I have my phone on selfie mode. And I'm like, hey, babe, turn around. And I hand her this thing. And I'm like, oh, you got me a birthday present. And I'm like, oh, you got me a pint? Oh my gosh, I always wanted one. And she just looks so confused the whole time. And I'm like, I always wanted a pint. Thank you so much for knowing. And then like I take it outside and go like ride it around. But that was my journey. This came from Chris Hughes. And he asked, why don't people do tech tricks on bigger futures? I think my immediate answer to that is because these boards fucking break.
I feel your pain.
It would not have been my first thought until you guys both broke your boards in the same like 24-hour period.
It's bad.
Right, I'm moving back in with my mom.
I think.
Sorry, I can afford to fix
This show's
shit.
energy is real depressing because we've got $3,400 in one wheels out of commission.
Yeah, and now I'm just babying mine because.
It's like a little slide, just a tiny slide, little bit here and there.
Yep.
So, okay, let's walk through this here. Travis, what's your board went down first.
So what I've learned is if you just have a basic small problem like ghosting, take care of that shit right off the bat. Because who knew that randomly your board will shoot off across the shop backwards, not the way I roll, drill a piece of angle iron, break the bottom of the board, not mess with my aluminum plate for protection, because that thing, you don't want that damaged, you know. Drills my battery case, shoves the battery case up into my foot pad, and now I'm riding with a hump. And I thought, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden we tear it apart. I've got a damage to my BMS chip. I can't shut the bitch off. I'm having all sorts of problems.
And Ori was just going to keep on riding.
I don't see that dude stopping for anything. No.
He's like, oh, well, okay, let's send it. Like, all right, send it.
That dude is so much fun to ride with. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, he definitely raises the stoke for
He's
sure.
got super good style too. So like whenever you see him do anything, you're like, I want to do it like that.
Oh yeah,
I want to look that cool.
Yeah, because if you want to watch somebody do
Yeah.
it, that dude lays it out clean almost every time, except
tail
for the
slides are
damage
super-
to my desk at the shop.
And your brake cleaner
Yeah,
rack.
so what I've realized is he's not going to hold back and just hit like half the rail that you build. He's going to want to extend the rail out another 2 feet beyond what it's there.
Yep.
And that's where my desk is. So the next morning, my daughter's my secretary. Baby girl's like, Dad, what the hell happened to the desk? Because all the filing cabinets are jammed all the way out. The trash just flipped over. The whole front board is just broken. You could tell where he slid underneath it. And I'm like...
He's Superman that just...
He's like, did I do that shit?
That was like that, right?
Yeah, that was like that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Kyle.
We should actually fact check Kristen right off the bat.
We should.
That's true. Not a bad idea.
There are a few corrections from.
Let's just start.
From
let's
episode
just
1.
start with that right now.
Boo Christian. Coach Christian out here had no idea what he was doing.
Well, so it turns out. Well, should I start with you?
No. Start with your birthday because you screwed that shit up.
In episode 1, I said I was turning 37. My lovely wife Rachel watched the episode all the way through, and she said, "You're not turning 37. You're turning 36." So I got an extra year of life.
Oprah Winfrey, go ahead.
I
got an extra year.
And it turns out that you are.
Extra year. Everybody's getting a car.
Yeah, you are not 47. I'm sorry, you're 46.
46
for now.
46.
Right.
So
not a million years. He's not a dinosaur. All right.
Right.
We might have
That
mentioned
my
seems
bad.
to be a Christian thing about age and
Just 'cause
As
he's the oldest in the
grandpa. I get a lot of grandpa
As-
compliments from him. Nice slide, grandpa.
Yeah. I saw you one time. I don't know. I think you might have been. I don't know where he dove out into the street.
I don't think so.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think I've seen Travis eat it other than like with rails and shit.
He's like looking back, trying to tell me to be careful of this like section coming up, and he's like, and he, like in the middle of traffic, just.
I think I dropped into some type of drain system, dude.
He was like, watch out, it gets a little rough up here.
It just sends it.
Dude, I look back one time at Adam. I'm like, dude, you're nailing it. And then I just went right off straight into the intersection again. So one time I was up near the high school and I'm by myself and I pull up to the stoplight or stop sign and I look at both cars in my view and I'm looking to make sure we both got visuals on each eyeballs, making sure that they see me. And they see me, so I let the one guy go through. There's another person after that person. So as soon as they go through, it's my turn, and I'm going to get it. So I just leaned into that board and sure enough, overrode that board. Right in the middle of the intersection, that shit just pit vipered me underneath my legs, bit my shins, flipped me over, and now I'm laying flipped up the wrong way, laying in the intersection, and I'm staring at this geo tracker with this lady in it. This lady who was supposed to come straight over top of me turns on her turn signal and floors it the other direction. I mean, like she had a pot roast that was burning at home. She didn't stop. She didn't do shit. I thought I'd at least pulled up and said, dude, you're too old for this.
How many injuries have you sustained on your board?
Oh, shit, dude. My nickname is T-Rex, WRECKS. Literally, I've been riding before, talking to Kaiser as I went around a corner up by the college, dropped off a 14-foot ledge just right out in the asphalt in an intersection. I wasn't paying attention. My board just went right off the edge, drill my arm, my leg, and he's like, dude, you've got to pay attention. I'm like, shit, I thought I was, you know? People put curves where you don't think they should be, and they're there.
Yeah, right.
What about your 22 mile an hour pants shredder?
Oh, dude, that's the first time I realized your board will stop moving at a certain speed. I was so torn up. I just wore shorts for the first time on the board. Shit.
The first and the last time.
Dude, I had so much blood out of every orifice of my body. When I stood up after that 22 mile an hour crash, so the 30 feet that I finally came to a stop,
Yeah.
the first 10 feet was in the air, and I just remember like slow-mo, oh shit. And then the next 10 feet, my pads did my job, did the job, so I slid on the plastic, and it was working out beautiful. And then the last 10 feet is when the pads moved off my knees and elbows and rode up my body.
Yeah.
And then the skin took over. So I remember standing up, just confused about what happened.
Pants around your ankles.
Right. So stood up, and I'm just like, shit, there was a car behind me. So I look behind me, and here's the neighbor, and as she goes by, doesn't stop. I'm looking at myself. I'm bleeding profusely all over. I look down at my shorts, and I can see my cell phone, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, there's a pocket that's supposed to be there holding that. What happened was I had ground the whole front of my shorts off, ground the outside of the pocket off, and now I'm looking at my bare cell phone just caught on a ledge of what's on the backside of my pocket. My cell phone is shredded, and I'm like, shit. So I look at her, and I had to look like a baby puppy that was lost, and I'm like, oh, shit. And she just holds me a thumbs up and just goes right by. And I'm like, hell yeah, this is what skating's about. And then I get on it, limp my way home, and I'm like,
get back on it.
I'm like, I gotta go home and get cleaned up. And no, I was like, shit, I gotta go to the neighbors and show them some shit that I did. And he's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm bleeding. I could use a pint of blood if you got some.
And maybe something to cover up this bare ass cheek.
I was so tore up. I don't think I can breastfeed out of this side for a while. But so yeah, I just have all sorts of wrecks. A lot of them are my fault.
There was this park that we went to, and we were trying to get this shot going down this real long, curvy paved road with all the leaves. And Cam had his old Dodge Caliber. And I forget who we had with us to drive, but the shot effectively was Henry and I on boards carving back and forth super hard. It was Austin driving, that's right. But it was Henry and I carving back and forth across the street, chasing Cam with the camera. And we didn't have a good way for Cam to ride a board and run the camera at the same time. It's like, wait, we're just gonna put Cam in the trunk of his car. So
and be keeping up with a boosted board.
And be keeping so
we're going like 20-something miles an hour,
speeds.
so it's hard for him to keep up on a one wheel.
So we very quickly figured out Cam couldn't ride and shoot at the same time. So our solution to this problem was we had the hatch of Cam's car open and up, and Cam took both the rear seatbelts and put them around his shoulders, and then like reverse Superman hung out of the back of his car with his super expensive camera like a couple inches off the ground.
Dude, I feel like we had
the parking garage, I feel like, is the unsung hero of one wheel and skateboards too. It's like
I agree.
it is kind of like that's
in Ohio.
Exactly. Because it is like it's the only place you can really do any of those things, and it is kind of that place like the collective. You know, you get together with your friends, you go skate a parking garage.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a good element to.
It's funny you say like it sounds dumb, but it's gonna look cool. That is like the thesis to anything I shoot, right? Like anytime you're trying to convince people like, hey, I need you all to ride like really slowly so I can keep up and get this like choreographed shot, like it's gonna feel really stupid, but then like look at the shot and it's like really dope. So like
I think now we've got Josh's clip.
Oh joy.
I love this.
Yes.
It's like dumb but very impressive. Look at this. Look at that.
Seriously impressive.
Look at him go.
Like,
yeah.
He doesn't even. Yeah, it's like he's done this.
Everybody at home, go try and do that.
Well, it doesn't even matter.
Now, he gets a little too ambitious here, but go try and do that right now.
By the state of that fender,
Mine makes you think that.
So I can tell by the state of the fender and how much float plate is left on those float plates. That was relatively around the point when I got the board. And that was Nico and I just messing around in a parking lot. I'm like, hey, record this. And I went over and I grabbed a rock. I'm like, if I pop my weight up,
what do you
I might
call
be able to
that
stand
trick?
on this.
So we're gonna play the first clip here. This is Henry's.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so he had a scooter. That's the best thing that ever came of that.
Oh my god, I forgot I owned that thing, dude. I got that scooter for free from Boosted, and I beat the shit out of it.
Funny story, that clip is actually in the film. At the end, there's like a post-credits thing and a little montage. That's in there. So
Apparently you teabagged it too, not just beat the shit out of it.
Josh is one of the
nuts on it.
He is one of the best like Snapchat archivists that I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Like he's like
Nico,
5
too.
years ago today.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like
Nico.
this amazing
Nico,
clip of like
yes.
just some bullshit happening.
yes,
What Cam does with the real camera, I do with Snapchat.
Josh is pretty good. That's good.
All right, now we got Cam's clip coming up here.
Quite proud of this one.
Yes.
Oh, dude, this is so good.
Quite dangerous. My toe would not have been okay after that. My finest moment.
You crunch into that bush.
That was like the third time we did that because the shots weren't good, and I was like, "Let me go again."
So that was you on the board.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that was pretty early too. Like that was that.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. Like you had like I hadn't seen people do any of like that level of ledge of that high.
And that was like a foot wide.
yeah. That was some scary shit.
I went up there. One of the people was like, "What if he dies?" He's like, "He won't. He's fine.
He won't.
He got it."
I didn't have any help on that. I'm just not like a word person.
Is that why it doesn't make any sense?
Yeah, it kind of is. You can tell.
Dude, I love the name though.
First time I
have been
told my wife
curious,
about
yeah.
getting a boar badger or something, she's like, "Why a badger?" Like,
You mentioned
why
it
a
to me
badger?
too, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I like my board just like it is. And you're like, "No, it'll make it waterproof." I'm like, "What does that have to do with
What does it have
badgers?"
to do with badgers?
Is it because it's a pain in the ass and badgers are notoriously mean?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we could go with that. We could go with that.
Well, I think it was kind of but like honey badger don't care, right? Type thing. Like it's just like you can just go in water. It's like you don't
Yes.
have to-
Well, at some point, I decided, all right, I have to get an animal in the name somehow.
Sure, because how else are you going to make a logo?
yeah.
Right. It was like, okay. I looked at the other companies that have names. They were too abstract.
Future
the float
motion. What
life,
does that
future
even
motion.
mean?
I was like, okay, I'm not creative enough to come up with that. I'm just going to
Yeah,
go
right.
with an animal. Everybody does.
spirit animal is the badger.
Yeah, so I went with the honey badger. Why not? And I don't know, a regular badger, not as ferocious, but
Still pretty
good
fun.
enough.
Still.
Good enough.
Yeah,
no, seriously, the call of the void is real, and
Yeah.
and where it happens is going off the edge of a tabletop, where you have to
So it's kind of, where
you lean forward and you just trust that the ground is gonna like keep up with you.
and if you see any pictures of him like racing, like anything, it's always like wings out. He's just like he is full, just like here I
I don't
go.
even realize I'm doing
Here
it.
I
It's just
go.
like,
I'm
that's my
ready.
natural pose.
It's beautiful. It
Prepared
truly-
for the
Believe I can
void, like
fly.
prepared to meet the whatever is next.
Whatever's next.
So that the feeling is they call it the call of the void when you're standing on like a high point and you feel that small urge of like
Just
it's
go.
kind of like I just want
big
to
urge.
kind of go.
Yeah.
Like you're not actually gonna do it, but it's like it is that sort of like
Dude, I've
one
never-
to like to get out there and you kind of get little bits of that while one wheeling going,
Yeah.
especially really because you're riding a very thin line of being on the edge of eating complete shit in.
You're
Yeah.
never safe.
Yeah.
But you're extra not safe.
And when you're
going
and when
above
you're
20
on
miles
that
an hour.
line, you're like, let's go. It's that extra
probable
dopamine boost.
That
yeah,
spot,
it's probable.
yeah. I mean,
Rubber bulbs, big ones, a turkey baster. That was the first one.
okay.
That it's a little bit too small, doesn't quite work. So I was searching for rubber bulbs on Amazon, and it's the enema bulbs
nice.
are the ones that you find eventually.
I have a fine collection myself.
Yeah, I mean everyone has them. They just don't realize that it's multi-purpose. So that's what I got one, and it was like, oh, this is the perfect size, like just the right amount of air volume, enough suction, blah blah blah. So I just started ordering them from Amazon. Because it's
Jeff Bezos is
it's,
like, what
it's
is
the
he
easiest source. And whoever's working in that warehouse, they had been wondering, like, dude, these are reusable. Like, you don't have to buy 20 of them.
They're like, well, whatever. No returns on adult products.
Right, exactly. So that's one item that was repurposed. Obviously, the guitar pick.
Yeah.
A couple other, because of course somebody makes parts that I need.
Right.
So-
Yeah. So then you just
Had to
kinda,
get creative.
Yeah.
Because everyone
He
knows
did it
I'm
without
great
any
at
pads.
eating
Or is the
shit.
test dummy
I
right
am
here?
excellent at eating shit. If nothing else, like I was never the best skateboarder, but I could slam pretty well. You're like, oh, you're okay. This is wonderful. We thought you were dead.
You're just one of those Jello people, just like get right back up.
Sometimes.
He did actually. He got right back.
Sometimes. But yeah, that one that was a totally decent one.
It was pretty good. We got a nice video. The gauge goes all the way to red.
Is this
just,
the video you sent me?
just as he's eating shit. Yeah. I
Okay,
sent- yeah.
this was the video you sent me. Okay. I don't know if we can play it or not. We probably don't have it in the media pool. But right here, I'm gonna play that video. And we're back.
And we're
That
back.
was
Holy cow!
That was
Here.
crazy.
Awesome
Wow, did
video,
you see
guys.
Dude, I saw how it went to red right before
Yeah,
it
and then-
crashed. Right? Is that the video?
Bill, really quick deviation. Your story of the raccoon.
Oh my.
Oh, the raccoon that came out of nowhere.
On a one wheel.
Oh my God! This
badger
poor,
sense didn't alert you?
Oh, this poor trash panda.
Poor little guy.
I had his fur still on the front of my bumper after this incident, but Ori was right in front of me. He,
yeah, I'll tell.
like a good person, he sacrificed himself. He veered off the trail.
I
This
dove
was-
into the bushes
this
because
was
I
at
saw
night.
this sweet little trash panda run out in front of me.
Right in
I
the trail.
screamed and just dove off my board into the bushes.
He
let
rode
my-
right off the trail, full speed.
because the poor thing was confused. It was running back and forth, and I got off the trail, but Robert just screamed and
It was coming right at me.
Just let
and
it.
the trail, it was a single track.
No deviation.
What am I supposed to do? I thought, okay, this is a game of chicken that I can't lose.
Right.
He's gonna, of course, dude. Look at how tiny he is. Well, no, he took it right in the face.
Yeah, so I look back and I see it just kind of bounce into the woods.
I didn't run him over.
No, he definitely
but
bounced.
he caught it, the corner.
Yeah.